Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Robert Frank. This is Saturday, February the 2nd. Time's moving on. Yesterday was a great day. Spent the whole day in Elko. Celebrated Loretta's birthday, being 77 years old. It was a lot of fun, quite a day. Kind of worn out, you might say. But anyway, we're back to reading the book of, as you know, Psycho-Cybernetics and Self-Fulfillment. We're on the question and answer segment of it, and we left off on, I think it was, let me check here to make sure. Yeah, I think it was happiness. And now we're on humility. So we're on humility, and I will continue reading as before. And we'll go ahead and get started. Humility. Question: what is humility? Answer: I recently was in a jet on my way from New York to London. We flew from the stars in the night to the rising sun of a new day, and overheard a man and his wife talking in front of me. She said, "What a beautiful sight. How insignificant it makes me feel." He said, "You mean how grateful we are to be alive in this universe." This made me realize the meaning of humility. For the purpose of humility is not to make us feel passively insignificant, but actively important. Great men like Einstein and Gandhi were humble not because they were self-disparaging, they were self-confident about their knowledge and their contribution to humanity. Humility is not self-denial. It is self-affirmation. It is a blending of success and failure in which we keep our failures in proper perspective in the past and successes in proper perspective in the present. We let neither dominate us. It is the balance between not trying to be more than we are or less than what we are, not trying to be superior or inferior. It is poised in that we don't inhibit ourselves by past failures, nor do we brag about our present successes. It is our emotional thermostat. It keeps us alive with self-respect. I once was with an editor friend of mine, and he noticed that I was unhappy. A story of mine has been turned down by a magazine, he said. "Maxwell, what gave you the idea that you could be successful as a writer overnight? You'll get many rejection slips before you succeed." The editor taught me humility. I didn't succeed in time by overcoming errors instead of letting errors overcome me. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And how are you this great day, Reverend Dave?
Hello, my friend. Let me turn off my recording.
Oh, you're recording too?
No, I'm just...
Oh, you're listening to something.
There, I was listening to Mike.
Oh, yeah, it's always fun to listen to Mike.
He was preaching.
Yeah.
Well, let me turn on my camera so you can see what I look like. I don't know
Oh,
if you want
oh,
to.
oh no. Oh,
That might be
oh.
scary. I don't know.
Hey, how are you? How are you?
Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored, my brother. How are you?
Tired. Went to Elko yesterday to celebrate Loretta's birthday and
Hmm.
be with my daughter. And it was just a long and tiring and very fun type day.
Well, I'm glad it was fun, but tiring is, at least you can rest up from that. So,
Yeah, I figured I'd do my thing here this morning and go back to bed.
okay.
I might not, but yeah, it just kind of wears you out. I noticed earlier this morning I went onto the new site and it said it didn't exist.
Yeah. It's going back and forth.
Yeah, so they're
It's partially part of their time. The front page is there, but you can't log in. And I talked to Mike Sherbo, or got a text from Mike Sherbo,
uh-huh.
and he says we'll get an email when it's active.
Oh, okay.
So I'm monitoring my Trinited email, and also the app is up, but you can't log into that either.
Oh, okay. That's the one that's for your phone, right?
Yeah, but you can download it to just go to Trinited and hit search, and it'll bring it up, and it's a free download, of course.
Yeah.
But like I said, you can't log in right now. I imagine that's partially due because of they're still updating the website. So,
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
but Jarvis posted on Thursday what was going to happen, and he said it might take 48 hours before everything comes up. So it
Yeah.
might be today, might be tomorrow, but we're going to sit with bated breath and wait for it to come up and go from there. So,
Yep. What
and
what
I
else?
believe they're doing payroll at the same time, so we might get paid all at the same time when the website comes up. I don't know.
Uh yeah, that's quite possible too, I would imagine.
Yeah. So,
Well, anyway, I started reading again. This time we're
okay.
reading about humility.
We
And
started early, brother.
yeah, I always start a few minutes early so that I can get the reading started.
Okay.
But anyway, the last segment of this is more about questions and answers.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of interesting. Anyway, I'll go back. So he was on a plane and was talking about his book had been rejected, and the editor told him that you know you're going to get a lot of rejection slips before you actually succeed. So anyway, back to the book. Are you ready?
Okay. Ready.
The editor taught me humility. I didn't succeed in time by overcoming errors instead of letting errors overcome me. Humility eight has these 8 ingredients. 1, sincerity. We are sincere with ourselves and with others. 2, understanding. We understand our needs and the needs of others. 3, knowledge. We know who we are and we don't have to keep up with the Joneses. 4, capacity to listen. We thus learn from others. Integrity. We know we are born to succeed, not to fail. 6, contentment. We are content, not discontented. We are relaxed, not in a state of spasm. 7, yearning. We have a yearning to improve ourselves. And 8, maturity. We gain maturity with these qualities.
What does that sound like, brother?
What's that?
Those 8 qualities.
They sound like a good, solid, down-to-earth human being
But
that's
but
lost.
but where have we seen it before? Can you name where we've seen it before?
Oh yeah, in the Bible. And
In the Bible, because it talks about wisdom and knowledge and understanding. It talks about contentment. It talks about the fruit of the Spirit.
yep,
I mean, it's all there. It's all it's all summed up in those 8 qualities that you just read.
oh
It's
yeah.
it's a beautiful thing that God thought of it first, and we're just amplifying on it as a result.
Well, that's what we do when, as writers, when we write books, we're writing on God's knowledge just to get paid for it.
Mm-hmm. That's it. You can't go wrong with God's knowledge.
Absolutely not. I totally agree.
And from what I've heard, I've never read it, but I guess the Quran says the same thing, and so does all the writings of Buddha, and so does all the writings of Confucius, and all these different writings all sum up basically what the Bible has said for thousands of years.
That is absolutely true.
So, I mean, there's wisdom everywhere if we just look for it, if we just seek it out. We don't have to limit ourselves to one religion or one set of thinking, because it's all thought of. I didn't realize this. Do you know that the Prophet Muhammad was visited by Gabriel the Archangel? He named himself as Gabriel the Archangel and told Muhammad that he was going to be a prophet after God.
Yeah, I think so.
I thought that was interesting, that one of the Bible angels visited.
Yeah, I think that if you check all the religions, one thing that I found, because I've read a lot of different concepts of religion, and there was another one that really fascinated me, and I don't know why. It just was in every single one that you read, there's the virgin birth. There's the Mother Mary. Might be all called by different names and different ideology, but it's all basically the same. So that in every single one of them, it's recreation of Yeshua coming to earth, which is our Father, God in heaven. So it's you got to take the time to study it, and most people don't, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to study it, and so I'm gaining more knowledge. I'm gaining more understanding. I'm gaining more wisdom, and it's interesting to see how we grow. I was listening to a recording by Wayne Dyer.
Oh, Wayne Dyer, yeah.
He talks about all these different religions and how you learn from each one of them.
Yeah.
And
I
how
like
he
Wayne
calls himself a
Dyer.
Christian, but
I like Wayne Dyer because the first book I got was Looking Out for Number One, and it's really a twister because it really, and there's a lot of the people out there that are probably just like I was at the time when I read the book, that had very, very low self-esteem. But Wayne Dyer really, when he wrote the book Looking Out for Number One, which I've got here, he specifies the fact that you need to look out for number one because you are important, and you got to get over this ideology that you're not. Somewhere in your lifespan, somebody banged it into you, or scrubbed it into you that you weren't important and you were nobody, you were nothing.
mm-hmm.
And so all those things are really highly important.
Well, that like Barbie, my friend says, that's the devil's talk. That's what the devil wants you to believe.
Absolutely. And
And
he's,
so why would I want to believe him? He's a liar. I mean, really.
yeah. Well, things are getting tough because I just noticed yesterday, you've heard of Sky Angel.
Yeah.
Sky Angel is a company that has religious programs. Well, either the government or something, they've gone out of business. You cannot get Sky Angel anymore. They're gone.
Too bad.
That's bad news. Anyway, I'll go back to reading here.
Okay.
There is no humiliation in humility. It takes time to acquire humility, but it brings happiness. Or as James S. Barrie said, life is a long lesson in humility. Next one, identity. I think I'm pronouncing it right, Identity. Question, how do you keep your identity in these times of over-conformity? Answer, first, let us think about conformity and over-conformity. We must conform to certain rules, and a degree of conformity is regulations, is healthy. It keeps life orderly. We must confront into time schedules of railroads and airlines and so on. We must conform to various routines in our jobs and to obligations as citizens. These conformities are part of civilized living. They are essential for people living in groups. We must have some conformity. But do we need an overconformity which imprisons people outside of prison? You must pay grocery bills, rent, taxes. This is necessary conformity. But it is overconformity if you blindly agree to your friends' opinions when you would like to challenge them. It is overconformity if you base your life on other people's standards. It is overconformity if you keep up with the Joneses. Keep up with yourself. You keep your identity when you combat these overconformities. You remain yourself, not someone else. Maintain your identity as a unique human being. God created you this way. Question. You say to be yourself or to be the real you, yet how can one do this unless he knows what his limitations and capacities are? I.e., what is his real self? Answer. To know the real you when you look into the mirror, you must ask yourself, who am I? What am I doing to myself, to others? Am I trying to be myself, or am I trying to imitate someone else? Or am I trying to please someone else? You limit yourself from your true capabilities when you try to be someone else. You then play second fiddle to someone else, carrying this person's image, not your own. When you do that, you fail as a human being. You also fail when you try merely to please someone else and not yourself, because you are trying to live up to someone else's image, not your own. You slosh off the false you when you stop trying to be someone else or to live for someone else. Your real self starts when you become a friend to yourself. And I'll say amen to that. First, before you can become a friend to someone else, you try to become a success with yourself before you can be a success with someone else. You learn to have the love of yourself before you can attain the love of someone else. By love, I don't mean narcissism, I mean self-respect. Self-respect is the beginning of your real self because it implies confidence and courage within yourself, understanding of your needs and then the needs of others. It implies a sense of direction to achieve your goals within your limitations and capabilities. When you know through training that you can do what you can't do, when you can know your capacities and you limit yourself to these capacities, and do not resort to idle dreaming of being someone else, then you have limitless, and I'm going to repeat that one, you have limitless opportunities to transform your capabilities in achieving realistic goals. One goal after another means limitless possibilities for self-fulfillment.
Hmm.
Next
Very
one.
true. Very true.
Very, very true. Yep. Next one, loneliness. Question. I have a terrible feeling of being alone. Why? What can I do to overcome this? Answer. We deal with uncertainty all our lives. This creates the feeling of loneliness in all of us. The great surge of mankind. But the business of living is to bend uncertainty to our will. How? By exercising our rights to live as long as we can, 150, amen, to live and be happy. This means that we are goal strivers, and when we reach one goal, we start for another. This reinforces you against loneliness as long as you live. There are three kinds of loneliness. Loneliness in relation to the outside world, loneliness in relation to another person, and finally, loneliness in relation to yourself. By far the worst kind of loneliness, it means an image you're ashamed of, an image you can't live with. Negative feelings produce an unhappy self-image which causes you to move away from the world, from others, from yourself, creating limitation in communication with yourself and the outside world where you belong. Loneliness means eviction. You cast yourself away from yourself, and this often brings about a kind of stubbornness in refusing to return to yourself. Loneliness can come from grief when you refuse to let go of it. If this happens, it is no longer a catastrophe of yesterday, but the agony of a lifetime. You must
Brother, I'm
return.
going to take off.
You're going to take off?
Yep, but I'll catch you later. Got my call tonight at 4 o'clock your time, if you can make it.
I'll be there.
All right, brother. God bless.
God bless, and I'll see you then.
All right,
Have a
take care.
great
Love you,
day.
man.
Ciao. You must return to the present. You must refuse to separate yourself, from others, and from reality. The business of living is to be part of humanity at all times. Come what may, to return to yourself, rising above failure and grief, communicating with yourself at all times, rebuilding a new self-image. You can live with an image you can be proud of because you can see it grow as tall as you want it to be. You see it grow now, today, as you search the goals you can achieve, remembering that no one can make you lonely without your consent. Next one, moodiness. How does one deal with moodiness? We all act differently on different days. We may even react differently on different days to the same things. One day when operating, I may act pleasantly to nurses and assistants, and on another day I may be grouchy and severe. We all have these ups and downs which we call moods or emotional cycles. which depend on the image we have of ourselves as we meet the pressures and challenges of living. At low periods, we become more critical at times, critical of others and of ourselves. We are more irritable and care little about other people. We are depressed, unhappy, ashamed of our self-image. We have temporarily lost our self-confidence, our understanding, our self-respect, and low periods are thus periods of unbelief. The high periods are periods of hope and excitement, periods of belief and self-confidence. We exclusively tackle the day's problems to reach our daily goal with assurance. Here, we have a self-image we are proud of, one we can live with. We feel on top of the world until we dispose of the surplus energy we have stored. Then, subsequently, we may fall into another slump of depression and discouragement. Up and down, you should understand that your behavior depends on your self-image, and that this image can change back and forth like your face, depending on whether it is tense or relaxed. Since your moods are part of the natural business of living, no matter how dismal the outlook may seem to you when you are low, remember this: you will feel better presently if you can reactivate the success mechanism within you. At the stage of depression, use your imagination. Sit down in a chair and relax. Go into a room of your mind. See in your mind your past successes. Picture them and feel them. This will help you improve your self-image, returning to you confidence and happiness. Next segment, negative feelings. Question, how do you overcome negative feelings? Answer. The answer, I believe, is in the following letter which I received from a hockey player. I have played quite a few years of ice hockey in both Canada and the United States. I have never had a disappointing season except for the winter of 1966 through 1967. It seemed that everything I did worked against me. I could not score goals or make passes. I even couldn't concentrate on playing a good game. I went through 50 games of agony, pressing harder and harder to play well and score goals, but to do no avail. My season's output was a lousy 6 goals in 50 games. I was on the verge of quitting the game, even though I knew that my conditioning was good and my body strong. My position on the team was uncertain. I had not produced, but I wanted to play for the United States World Hockey Team in the World Games held in Vienna, Austria. A business associate of mine in a casual conversation mentioned the book of Psycho-Cybernetics and how it improved his thinking. He recommended it to me, and I bought it with the idea that it might help my hockey career as well as business. I immediately began applying the techniques to improve myself. I sat down in my lounge chair each day in my office and turned the lights off. I reacted as many situations in as many games as I could remember, especially in the games when I failed miserably. I discovered that in almost every game that I had recalled, I distinctly remembered experiencing great emotional fear of being injured while playing. As a matter of fact, this fear seemed to dominate every situation that I could recall. The answer to my difficulty seemed so simple to me as I sat in that dark room. Why was I constantly thinking of being injured? And this preoccupation of my mind was enough to throw my entire game into failure after failure. I immediately began to replace this negative feeling and thought with a positive feeling and thought. I recalled every situation in the past when I had done well and had scored goals. I relived the excitement and the great feelings of being a winner when I scored those goals. I replaced these thoughts, eliminating the fear of injury. I honestly repeated this system each and every day through February and March of 1967. Things did not change immediately, but I knew in my own mind that they would, and change they did. I moved from my bench position to a reserve to the starting lineup. I began scoring goals and playing the game with new enthusiasm. It seemed as though I had never played the game before. My success was unbelievable. My name appeared in headlines. I kept scoring the winning goals when 2 months back I could not do the job. An amazing turnabout. I continued to lead the team in scoring with 8 big goals during the European tournaments, most of them key games which won the games of 1968 in the Olympics year, and I know exactly what I'm going to do to be on that team. Next segment, pressure. Question, how do you live with pressure? Answer, first you must accept your periods of weakness. This is of basic importance in dealing with pressure because you cannot always feel strong. Unfortunately, many people, especially men, feel they must always be strong. If you cannot accept weakness, you may crumble in crisis. For if you must always be strong, you overburden yourself and are liable to feel weak. Under pressure, anyone will at times feel uncertain and take no action when he should act. Under pressure, anyone may become arrogant and impossible. You must accept these forms of weakness under pressure. You must try to overcome them and steer yourself into a positive channel. But first, you must accept them. If you don't, you have no floor under you to cushion your falls. So first, accept your weaknesses because this will move you toward genuine strength. Accept your negativeness, then use your assets to reactivate your success mechanism. Question, how do you know you are yourself with all the pressures and tensions facing you? Answer, the business of being your true self consists in standing up to the pressures, the tensions, and the problems of the day. Problems will always confront us. They are there to surmount. That is what enhances our integrity as human beings, giving muscle to our spiritual and intellectual fibers. Success doesn't mean being successful. Success means the capacity to rise above a problem, a failure, a tension, a corrosion, or a conflict. How do you know yourself? You begin to know yourself when you give yourself the chance to develop and make your image grow when you tackle problems. If you let negative feelings overcome you and complain that life was unkind, that you were born unlucky, then you are not yourself. Then you become less than what you really are, and you make your image shrink in size. How do you know yourself? You look into the mirror and ask yourself this question, and you, not someone else, must answer it. You answer it by knowing you are a combination of frustration and confidence. happiness, and despair. And you resolve to mean something to no one but to yourself. And through this resolve, you have the desire to amount to your true self. This desire gives you the direction to reach your goals of finding better part of you, the true you, refusing to be less than what you think you are through some error of the past. You are yourself. When you are true to yourself, then life has meaning. Question or next segment, psychoanalysis. Question, can psycho-cybernetics be a substitute for psychoanalysis, or are they two separate techniques that are unrelated? If they are related, how are they related? Answer, psycho-cybernetics is no substitute for psychoanalysis. It is quite different from psychoanalysis, which devolves into the past, whereas psycho-cybernetics delves into the present. It may be of value to delve into the past, but you are a different human being today, and what you do with your life today is more important regardless of the negative feelings and mistakes of yesterday. You learn to rise above them today. Hello, Sandy.
Hey, Robert, how you doing?
I'm doing very, very good. Anything going on exciting?
Not really. I just got in.
Oh,
Thought I'd better try to catch you.
well, I'm glad you did. I'm still reading along.
Good.
Yeah, we've been going along here pretty much reading about psychoanalysis compared to psycho-cybernetics. But yesterday I went to Elko, and Loretta was with me, and we celebrated her birthday and
Oh, that's nice.
spent some time with our daughter, and was gone all day. Didn't get home till about 7, and got up this morning and wondered what truck hit me. Yeah, worn out to say the least. But it was a good day. And of course, Loretta was very, very happy.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway, I'll go ahead and start reading where I left off. I suppose both can work jointly, but psycho-cybernetics can work without the other because psycho-cybernetics is self-analysis without using another party. You alone take stock of yourself, of your assets, and of your liability. And you make the decision now that you are going to do something creative with your life. Psycho-cybernetics consists of the average psychoneurosis, the result of just a bad habit, and the whole principle of self-image psychology. That I advocate is that you have a self-image and that you can change yourself for the better. You and you alone can change from a bad habit of frustration into a useful habit of confidence. Here's a letter written to me by a distinguished psychiatrist. The letter. It was a great source of pleasure as well as professionally gratifying to read your remarkable book on psycho-cybernetics, which caught and held my interest to the end, and which promises reward on a pragmatic level far beyond the average. I am aware of how psychiatrists, for the most part, are chary
Sorry?
of,
Don't know what that means.
I don't either, chary of contributions to their field from regions of science outside their immediate echelon of knowledge.
Mm.
But the lively style and lucid articulation of ideas in your book must certainly disarm the priori resistance,
Priority.
I think so, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
of the most hardened psychic reclusion and arrest his thinking on the subject in a trice. As one whose principal engagement in psychiatry down through the years has been that of psychotherapy of the neurosis, I became many years ago, following the decision from the straight Freudian line drawn by those schools of thought which pushed the importance of the self-concept as crucial in therapeutic advanced horny frumming problems. Wow,
Hmm.
forget that. But in spite of assiduously studying the theoretical formulations and even during controlled work with vigorous of the schoolist disciplines, I was never satisfied with the application of theory to practice as it shaped up, and was always malcontent with the varying technical mobilities for solving the problem, which I tried to organize myself on a purely independent basis. The fascinating utilization of Norbert Windkort's theory, which you have so auspiciously put to work, appeals to me as a solution on the therapeutic working level, which promises great things. The clear and straightforward presentation of the dynamics as outlined by yourself is easy to grasp, and in addition, any intelligent patient should be able to utilize the book either as a therapeutic instrument per se or in conjunction with any self-orientated system of psychotherapy. I shall look forward to having many copies of the book close to hand for service to the aforesaid area. Once again, allow me to thank you for a rewarding and stimulating professional experience. I hope I understood that. I'm not a psychotherapist, but I think I got the general idea. For even his patients, this was a good book.
Mm-hmm.
Next segment, psychocybernetics. Question, what do you mean by the word psychocybernetics? No, I'm not home.
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye. Okay, what do you mean by the word psychocybernetics? Answer, psychocybernetics is derived from a Greek word, cybernetics, meaning a helmsman, a man who steers his ship to port. The word I coined, psychocybernetics, means steering your mind to a productive, useful goal. People with negative feelings are likely to steer themselves off course. But psychocybernetics is a creative process aiming at self-fulfillment. Salvador Dali, the famous Spaniard artist, once gave me a painting of his concept of psychocybernetics. In the center is a world divided into two parts. Half the world is in shade from frustration, and here man's image has stuck to the side of a small potato, with man walking away from life and from himself into dark corners. of his troubled mind, while below, a ship without sails flounders in the stormy seas of frustration, never reaching port. The other half of the world is in sunshine from confidence gained from past successes, confidence used in man's present goal to reach fulfillment. Here, man's image is 10 feet tall and walks toward the sun, while below, a ship sails through calm waters about to reach port. What is this port? Peace of mind. Each of us, composed of many people, particularly of two opposing forces of frustration and confidence, and psycho-cybernetics means using the success instinct within us to reach our full stature of self-respect. One step beyond worthwhile positive thinking. It's positive doing. You take a constructive thought and turn it into a creative performance, moving toward your goal, refusing to let negative feelings throw you off course. Next segment, relaxation. How does one relax in these uncertain times? Answer, we have many games which are vehicles for physical relaxation, but what I'm considering now is the mental and spiritual relaxation which brings with it physical relaxation. Every generation speaks about uncertain times, born in uncertainty, living in uncertainty. We pass on in uncertainty. The business of living creatively is to bend uncertainty to our wills as we reach our goals and a sense of fulfillment. We live successfully by rising above our tensions. We can do this effectively if we practice the art of relaxation. There are 5 cardinal points to relaxation. Each one is difficult to do, but you can do it, and the rewards are tremendous. Number 1, forgive others with no sense of condemnation. A clear, clean slate. No forgiveness on the installment plan. I love you today, but can't stand the sight of you tomorrow. That is not forgiveness. A difficult task, but worth fighting for. Number 2, forgive yourself for your errors or blunders. Another difficult task, but you can do it. Forget the blunders of yesterday and make it a habit to live fully today. To err may be a human failing, but to forgive is a human achievement. Shakespeare said, to forgive is divine. Still, who is asking you to be divine? Be human and achieve your fulfillment as a human being. 3, keep up with yourself, not with someone else. Trying to imitate others merely forces you to play second fiddle. Anyway, you can't be someone else without tension. Every day you must try to make your own self-image grow. This you can do. Number 4, see yourself at your best. Stop concentrating on your worst. You are at your worst when you torture yourself with feelings of frustration every day. You are at your best when you practice confidence every day, using the confidence of your past successes in your daily undertaking. You have a choice. Exercise it. By frustration, I don't mean the frustrated feelings all of us experience during the day. By frustration, I mean chronic frustration. When we carry 50 pounds of extra weight on our mental back every day because we failed in some undertaking deep in the past. Making a habit of negation, continually feeling insignificant, in the present. You must forget yesterday, and you forget by substitution, thinking and working toward your present goal. The more you think of reaching your present goal, the less time you will have for the worries and headaches of yesterday. And 5, give yourself an assignment when you sit in a quiet room and use imagination. See in your mind a geyser leading off steam, a symbol for you to let your tensions of today, to break your electric circuit of distress, even for a moment, so that you can then renew your energies for the demanding tasks that lie ahead of you when you face the new today. Next segment, religion. Where does religion fit into psychocybernetics? Answer. One person at a religious college asked me if psychocybernetics takes the place of religion. No, not at all. The principle of psychocybernetics involves the ways and means of steering your mind to a productive, useful goal, to fulfill yourself. Every basic tenet of every religion teaches fulfillment. You should be better than what you think you are. And you do this not by thinking it by about it, but utilizing the success instinct within you, the servo mechanism within you to steer your mind to a certain productive goal. Psychocybernetics is no substitute for religion, but it has a spiritual basis behind it. You set goals within your training, within your capabilities to reach your full stature of dignity and self-respect. Psychocybernetics means, in other words, a search for your integrity as a human being. And that is what religion teaches. So all that cybernetics can do is to help you fulfill yourself regardless of your religious beliefs. It makes you a better spiritual human being and therefore makes you more successful in what your beliefs may be. Young people are looking for spiritual guidance, and when they know they can fulfill themselves through psychocybernetics, they will fulfill themselves as human beings. Whole persons keeping themselves whole, physically, mentally, psychologically, and spiritually. All the equipment that will make them return to their place of worship. Why? Because they have a state in themselves to amount to something. When they have dignity, they have compassion. When they have compassion, they have humility. When they have humility, they have the courage to be themselves, to stop building walls of resentment. They must learn to tear this wall of resentment down, to tear this wall of Jericho down, so that they can see their image in true focus, an image in God's image. Is God dead? As far as I'm concerned, no. There's no answer for people in extraterrestrialism that we live a life of fertility. This is inconsistent with psychocybernetics for the simple reason that if you succeed, if you fulfill yourself as a human being, you then express the God-like qualities within you. God is within you. If you want to see yourself and believe in yourself, I believe you came into this world to succeed. Next one. Self-image. Question. What do you consider man's most important asset? Answer. His self-image. Each of us have a mental picture, a blueprint of himself. This blueprint determines how you act in your relationships with other people. To find life reasonably satisfying, you must have an image you can live with. Before you can find your self-acceptance to others, you must find yourself acceptable. You must believe in yourself. When your self-image is confident, you express yourself and function at your best. But when this self-image brings you shame and fear of failure, you stifle creative expression and walk away from reality and others and yourself into a dark tunnel in your troubled mind. Hurt feelings and resentment follow, and then you find it difficult to get along with others and with yourself. Our self-image is our key. If remembering the confidence of past successes, we use it in our present goal, chances are good we will succeed. If, however, we fear making a mistake, remembering our past failures, we fail before we even start. Question: can people really change? Answer: they can. If they can change their self-image, this is their greatest asset. We all can use a change for the better. And since most of us are in the habit of shortchanging ourselves because of our guilt feelings over some blunder of the past, we must remember that we are usually better than what we think we are, and that we came into this world to succeed, not to fail. We must have the desire to change. We must remember that one thing common to all mankind is the desire to live, not just exist, live and be happy. This is a goal common to all. If we remember this when we feel inadequate, and if we refuse to lose sight of this great goal, we then will refuse to let negative feelings sidetrack us from it. We must systematically remember that this self-image doesn't rule us, we rule it. We systematically recall a time in the past when we were successful and happy, and we systematically imagine we are the person now by concentrating on our past confidences in the present. Every day is a day for improving your self-image. This is your first daily goal of fulfillment. When you get up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror, you ask yourself who you want to be that day. You must answer. If you saw yourself as unhappy, you then need to see yourself happy, remembering that no one can make you unhappy without your consent. Imagine yourself confident within your capabilities. Make the confidence you once had the confidence that belongs to you now. Use it. Fight for it. Question: how do I start to change? What is the first step? Answer: the first step is to realize that you can change for the better. How? You look in the mirror and take stock of yourself. You say, who am I? Because I failed in some undertaking, am I therefore a failure? Or am I a person born to succeed? When I use the confidence of some past success in my present undertaking, who is the real me? Am I afraid of making a mistake? Afraid to be anything but perfect? Forgetting that there is no human being alive who is always perfect. Forgetting that I'm neither superior nor inferior. Who am I? Am I a mistake? Yes. Am I a mistaken breaker? Success is not just being successful, but the capacity to arise above blunders. Who are you? A person of frustration or a person of confidence? Both? Yes, within the mirror of your heart are reflected the many people who you really are. But in essence, you are a combination of frustration and confidence. As you look in the mirror, you are seeing a motion picture of yourself, a living, breathing x ray of who you are and what you can do. You remember that you came into this world to succeed and not to fail. That success and happiness belong to you, like your heart or your eyes. You grasp for it without stepping on other people's toes, without stepping on your own toes with negative feelings. So you see yourself in the mirror. How do you start to change? You come to grips with yourself. No evasion, no double talk, no games of make believe. You have a moral and spiritual commitment when you see yourself in the mirror to answer the question of who you are. You are both frustration and confidence, but you can't be both at the same time. You have to decide which way you want to jump. You should jump on the side of confidence. You make a habit of it day in and day out. You live in the present, your present goal. The more you concentrate on achieving your present goal through confidence, the less time you will have for worrying about the failures of yesterday. Uh, there's quite a bit here. So I guess we're going to have to go on to one more day because I see the time's getting close.
Hmm.
So we'll definitely finish it up on Tuesday. But yeah, we're almost to the end. So real quick, I'm just going to say thank you for all those that showed up, Reverend Dave and Sandy, and anybody else that may have dropped in. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing. I plan on continuing to do this for a long, long time. And I hope to see you on Tuesday. So I will stop the recording and we can continue after that. So everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too, Robert. God bless.